Let us talk about Trump, Zelensky, and Proust. About Zelensky's dress and Trump, Zelensky's, and Musk's address. By dress, I refer to what is your appearance, and by address, I refer to communication. Essentially, we will underscore the importance of clothing and appearance. Trump and Musk are two very rich men. Proust studied the rich. Let me combine his findings with mine own humble ones and tell you what we think of the rich. So Proust found that the intelligence, character, or kindness, social graces, were sparsely distributed among various socio-economical classes and were not any higher in the rich than in other classes. But still the rich get a lot of attention. Rich are proof that money doesn't buy intelligence, but it does buy a lot of people willing to call you a genius. So you get a lot of attention if you're rich. Also, you get a lot of demands. That's why the rich become miserly. They learn to start saying no without any reservations. They also start feeling superior, condescending, and eventually they start feeling infallible. They also become indifferent. For example, they won't explain their dress. The rich don't apologize usually, and they don't explain their dress. Even they don't explain their contingent. You see, Musk comes with his child on his shoulders to White House and even to the president's office. Doesn't explain. As far as Zelensky's dress is concerned, it was an important point. That is why, as Zelensky is alighting from his car and Trump is shaking his hand as he comes into White House, you see that Trump is telling the media, oh, today he is dressed up. Then you get that question from the media, why are you not wearing a suit? And then you also see that Trump is saying to Zelensky, I like your costume. And Zelensky is surprised and says, really? So there is a little bit of disbelief in that really, as if Trump's compliment is not tallying with whatever has been said about his dress behind the curtain. Now let us come to Zelensky's answer. He says, when the war is over, I will wear a costume like yours. This is in tandem with what some other leaders have also done. Churchill is also said to have worn war tunics to formal meetings. Arafat used to wear his military fatigue and also the kafia on his head. Castro used to wear his tracksuits. So that part, I believe Zelensky was already ready for, and he handled it well. That's about the dress. Now let's come to address, the communication. So language can be used in two ways. restricted code and elaborate code. Restricted code is imprecise, not concise, inaccurate. Elaborate code is precise, accurate, and can hold on its own. Trump himself, though he comes from the rich and educated class, he himself uses restricted code. Restricted code is more often used by the unexposed and the uneducated. Trump's constituency also uses restricted code. There is not so much focus on accuracy in restricted code. Trump has banned censorship. Perhaps he knows what is the kind of constituency I have, and by banning censorship on social media, I make my constituency more potent. Because Trump has borne the brunt of fake news in his first term. When Trump came, he wanted to befriend Putin and Russia. However, it is said that deep state made him trip by bringing out a fake news that there was Putin's role in getting Trump elected. Putin interfered in the US elections. And by Trump's own admission that this allegation came from the bedroom of Hunter Biden, came from the washroom of Hunter Biden, it is evident that this pains him, that he became the victim of fake news generated by the deep state. This is also one of the reasons why he is wanting to dismantle the deep state. However, it is still to be seen as what will happen when he dismantles the deep state. How will he handle Zelensky then? How will he handle the trouble erupting in Canada or in Mexico or other adversary nations which he is creating? Anyway, let's come back to the address, the speech. In today's world, if a rumor is not refuted, it becomes a fact. You remember our external affairs minister's visit to US? It was not to wangle an invitation for the PM. However, there was so much of rumor around this that it almost became a fact till the external affairs minister refuted this in the parliament. Rumor has power. Of course, the rumor mill can come back to bite the one who founded it. Aside from accuracy in speech, how should its content be? What should be the form? Whether that form should be hard-hitting, scathing and bitter, or it should be filtered and cushioned. So in this case, there are two traditions: the romantic tradition of speaking and the classicist tradition of speaking. Romantic speech is raw, unfiltered, and often indifferent to decorum, while classicist speech is measured, refined, and adheres to social grace. There is a concern for softening the balance, softening the blow and balance in classicist speech. It tries to deliver reality in a structured and palatable manner. It is expressed in a way that maintains order and dignity. I like the motto of McCann Erickson, the ad agency, which summarizes the Classicist speech. Truth well told. The right to swing your fist ends where the other man's nose begins. Truth well told. Trump and Musk speak in romantic tradition. Zelensky is also blunt, but his bluntness comes from the liberal tradition, which has suffused the world. You have seen how Greta Thunberg scolds presidents and leaders of the world, saying, "How dare you?" Going to an extreme, the liberalism going to an extreme, 16-year-old girl scolding the heads of states. But liberalism has suffused the international dialogue also. Modi also said, ना देश आंख झुका कर बात करेगा, ना आंख उठा कर बात करेगा, ये देश आंख मिला कर बात करेगा. And his logic was that the international rules order was giving a lot of importance to equality. So he was representing 1.4 billion people, and that deserved a space. And he said that I get that space because I'm representing 1.4 billion people. However, a new rules order is dawning. The hierarchy of might and money is coming back. Musk has so spoken to a foreign minister of Poland. Be quiet, small man. What does that mean? It means that a deficient status in money or might is becoming grounds for you being excluded from the debate. In a way, the order which Musk and Trump are pushing in is that if you don't have the might, you don't deserve the microphone. This is the new tenor which is being pushed in. But let us see how it will land. It is true that the rules of the world favor the mighty because the mighty make the rules. However, there are other mighty powers also. There is Europe, there is China, there is India. So they are still believing in greater equality, in freedom of speech, even if you are not the mighty nations. And it will be interesting to see whether what is being pushed will easily land or a new configuration will emerge, which balances the two sides.